World's best student, ladies and gentlemen, because you can always learn something new. Hey YouTube, my name is Seb, and I am a photographer, illustrator, occasional filmmaker, and now, I guess, an occasional YouTuber. What's good, guys? It's been an eventful week, to say the least.
Oh my god.
Hello. What's good, bro?
I've had a couple of shoots, some of which will have their own dedicated videos, so be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And of course, to follow me on Instagram to see the final results. But today is mainly going to be about one thing. My gear bag. Disclaimer, I never use a gear bag because 80% of the time I'm just at home shooting in my home studio. But occasionally there would be a client, a commercial shoot, or a bigger project of my own that would require me to travel to another studio or location. And like I said, I was already on a couple of shoots this week, so all my gear was in the bag already. So I figured I might as well just do this video right now. Two birds, one stone. First things first, I'm the realist. God, I'm a boomer. Okay, let's do that thing. So first things first, this is the Peak Design Urban Backpack. This is the smaller capacity version. There is a bigger one, but I picked this bag because I actually think this looks pretty sleek and nice for a camera bag, and I feel like most camera bags look too much like a camera bag, if you get what I mean. Like, there's that specific look that I'm just not a fan of. But at the end of the day, you really do need to assess what is most important to you. For example, when I was traveling in Tokyo and in Hong Kong, I was using another backpack. Basically, I had to take it off, kind of unzip the whole thing, lay it on the floor, boom, and the whole world can see what I've got. And sometimes it's not really a vibe, especially if you're in a less safe neighborhood. Not saying Tokyo or Hong Kong is unsafe. In fact, they're probably some of the safest places I've ever been. But that said, if you are someone who travels from A to B with no stops in between, so say you're home to a studio or location, then I would probably go for one of those backpacks that is a little bigger, a little larger, and allows you to open the full thing, etc., etc. But if you're like a run and gun street photographer, architect photographer, whatever you may be, and you need to stop in between, then I would go for something that has sidecar access, quick access. And that's exactly why I picked this guy, because it just saved so much hassle when I was in Tokyo to be able to immediately take out my camera and snap something. Because 80% of the time, I'll just see something really cool, but then by the time I've taken out my camera, bada bing, bada boom, the moment's gone, the light has changed, and I didn't like that. So I opted for this backpack. But okay, so without further ado, let's open this bad boy up. Boom. So you can see there are 3 compartments, and the cool thing about the Peak Design bag is that it is quite modular with that Velcro. Anything with Velcro is lit, unless it's your grandpa's shoes, lol. First compartment is the main workhorse. This is my A7R IV. Now, he and I go way back. I've used this guy for like a couple years now, ever since it came out. I love him. He is a Decepticon because he's cool. But yeah, he's just an amazing camera. Full frame, Sony. I've been in the Sony ecosystem since the A7 II, which is my first kind of big professional camera. Prior to that, I was always renting from my uni or Fat Llama, big up to them. And yeah, the A7R IV, 64 megapixels or something crazy like that, which is hella overkill, but it's perfect for what I do. And some of you are probably thinking why I don't have the A7R V, and personally, I don't feel the need to upgrade just yet, simply because the differences are quite slight. Now, mind you, the few differences, such as the AI chip, the flip-out screen, are incredible and are definitely something I did consider. But other than that, the specs are still more or less the same. But when the R6 comes out, or when the R5 goes on sale when the R6 comes out, then I might consider upgrading. But until then, the R4 is more than enough for my use case, and I love this dude.
R4, be careful! Oh dear.
Attached to this guy is the 24-70 Sigma art lens, and I've been a huge fan of the Sigma art lenses for many a year now. The 24-70 is probably my favorite lens of all time, just because I think that range is so good and so versatile. And in fact, if you guys had to pick one lens to buy, I would highly recommend this. The Sony G Master 24-70 is incredible as well, and it does have that native compatibility, but the Sigma is slightly cheaper. However, if you do have the extra cash to splash, then I'd probably go for the G Master. Moving on to the second compartment, here is my 35mm point and shoot, the Leica Minilux. Now this guy actually belonged to my dad. He got it in the 90s, and this was Leica's answer to the Contax T2. Having used both, I would say that I prefer the Contax, but there was of course all this hype around the Contax T2 when Kendall and all the Kardashians and all the celebrities were using it. It is hella overpriced for what it is. But the Leica is fantastic as well. The only drawback is this viewfinder is microscopic, like it is so small. But other than that, I think it is a fantastic little camera. It does have that sentimental value just because it did belong to my dad. And sometimes I do like to snap some behind the scenes photos on film because, you know, nothing beats that film look. Moving on, in the middle compartment is my lav system. So this is the DJI Mic lav system, which I'm using right now. And I prefer using lavs, especially when I'm out and about, of course, or even when I'm here, because I move so much. It's just easier for me to use a lav as opposed to my SM7B, which I use when I'm at my desk. Desk setup video is incoming, so be sure to subscribe. But yeah, DJI Mic, fantastic system. And then in this final compartment would normally be my FX30, which is what I'm filming on right now. It is indeed an APS-C camera, but honestly, I don't really mind it, especially if you pair it with a wide enough lens. I am currently using the Sony 1.8, and on the FX30, it is more or less a 30mm because it is a full frame lens. I think the FX30 is a great budget option because I couldn't really justify getting a full frame A7S III or the FX3 or anything like that just for YouTube, because the FX30 is primarily my B cam. I use it to get behind the scenes, to film all of these bits. I think it's a fantastic camera. It does 10-bit, it does RAW, it's got 6K downsampling. Great camera. Honestly, budget option if you need a fantastic cinema line camera. And that's basically the main compartments of the backpack. On this side, we have, Tiffen Glimmer glass. This is on the weakest intensity. This is basically a lesser, more subtle version than their Pro Mist filter, which allows for the highlights to be a little more soft and glowy. It gives that filmic, dreamlike look. Highly recommend. Upper side pocket. This is a little cool. This is a Diptyque Perfumed Ceramic. So whenever you go to Diptyque and buy one of their fragrances, they usually give this for free. And essentially it's a little tile that they'll spray with one of their fragrances, and it will just smell good for years. Like, I've had this for about 1.5 years now. It still smells incredible. And I like to put these in all my backpacks or all my bags just because when I open it, it just smells lit. Like, oh my Lord, I wish you could smell this. Next up, Aesop Deodorant. Everyone needs deodorant because you all stank. Needed, necessary. And, oh, wait, I missed one thing. Quite an important thing, actually. This is the Orbitkey Nest. Now, the Orbitkey Nest, I'll be completely honest, is a little overpriced for what it is. It is basically a glorified carry case, hard case thingy, but it is useful for when you're traveling, I'll have to admit. It is a little hard case, but it's cool because the top is actually a wireless charger, which is pretty dope. I use this whenever I'm traveling or going on sets just because it offers a little protection for what's inside. Now, opening it up, we have the Lacie Rugged SSD Pro. This is the 4 terabyte model. This guy, life changer. Honestly, this is the best SSD I've ever used. It transfers about a gig every 4 seconds, which is crazy. It's got read-write speed of, I think it was 3,000 megabits a second. That's nuts. And I just love this guy. I do all my transfers onto this guy after a shoot, and then I just edit off of it, especially when it's video. Native Union screen cleaner. So it's one of those like little spray things, and then you use the cover as like a wiper. So really nice, handy. Thunderbolt 4 cable, again, very useful, especially using and pairing it with the SSD. Just the Thunderbolt 4 offers that extra speed. This guy, whoa, this guy is freaking lit. This is the Airfly. Now, I got this at the Apple Store, and basically what this allows you to do is when you're on a plane, and you know how they always give you those like crappy headphones that looks, one, from 1985, and two, just crap, almost. And you know, you've got your own headphones, you've got your AirPods or whatever, and you can't connect it because there's no Bluetooth on these screens, right? Not anymore! Plug one of these into the aux of the monitor, turn it on, and boom, it pairs to all your Bluetooth devices, your AirPods, your AirPod Maxes. This thing is a life changer. I only use it whenever I'm traveling, obviously, but yeah. Last but not least, 2022 M1 Ultra MacBook Pro. Now this guy, he is my editing laptop when I'm on the go. It's great to have this whenever I'm traveling or whatnot, just so I can edit on the go, do file transfers, or whenever I'm at home, I usually just use my desk setup. So when I'm at home, this is the YouTube laptop. This is where I watch all my movies and stuff on the side. Before we ended this video, I just wanted to give a little advice, and that is your equipment should be tailored to your needs and your use case. At the end of the day, just because this is what's in my camera bag doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right fit for you. Make sure you do some research and understand what you're getting before buying anything, etc., etc. But more importantly, the equipment should be there to bolster you. You don't need my exact setup. You don't need the newest camera, or the newest tech, or the newest tools to create art. The most important ingredient is actually you. Don't forget that. Cringe fest over. All right, I'm out of here. And that wraps up the camera bag video. I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you did, please consider leaving it a thumbs up. Like I said, I've done a couple of really cool concepts and photo shoots in the last week. So be sure to follow me on Instagram and hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss these new releases. One of them will be its own individual video, so there's plenty of new content coming out. Also, one last thing, 100 of you have already subscribed, and that's crazy to me after one video, so I'll take that as a huge dub any day. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey, and until next week, I've been your boy Seb. Peace.